since I can't record gameplay because of, this issue here, right? I'm still crippled. I'm gonna do a setup tour because I haven't done one in a while. People ask for it. I'm like, hey, that's something I can do. So if it's shaky, that's why. But yes, this is my setup. Here are the 5 main monitors, and on the left is my NAS. So we'll start with the boring, go over the NAS. First, this is a 2013 iMac, has a 4-core i7, it's pretty good, has 24 gigs of RAM, and then attached to it is 22 terabytes of storage in the form of, I think these two are together in a JBOD array. Each of them are 6 terabytes, so I have 12 terabytes in that, and this is 5, and that's 5, I think, right? Yeah. So, those are the, hello, focus camera. Yes. So yeah, I'm recording this on my iPhone, but yeah, those are the camera and disk volumes if you wanted to know. And like here, I just like store my stuff. I use my NAS for backups and pretty much everything. I love this thing. And it is connected, if you can see that red wire, I know my cable management is awful, but it's connected by the red wire, so gigabit Ethernet, into my network switch, which is somewhere back there in that bad cable managed area. Before we sit down, we have this chair. This is a lovely chair from Staples. You don't need a $400 PewDiePie gaming chair. Alright. Here is my keyboard. It is a Corsair K70. This is the primary keyboard that I use. And they have some ridiculously huge mouse pad. Like that mouse pad drips all the way down there. Because the original plan was to have it go across here, but it turned out to be an inch too long because I mismeasured and I wanted to cry. So I just hang it down like that. And as you can see on the floor, there's another one. There's my Black Widow Chroma that I have plugged into my computer over there. And that's the thing you saw when I was using my feet during the parkour. I was just hitting that. I was actually hitting that, because that's the area. That is space. But yeah. My mouse is a Razer Black Widow Chroma. You can see if you want the info. There you go. There it is. Default stuff, except for the binds, which I changed so I can actually play the game. I have a Blue Yeti hooked up to some random boom arm from Amazon. I know, right? And then a pop filter on it, so it sounds nice and crisp without all those sounds. And I am one of those people that uses the hardware mute button when I don't have things on. And turning around here, you can see that webcam. That webcam's on my bed, and that looks onto the setup like this. And that is how I was getting those shots of from the parkour video and during the streams and everything like that. So yeah, we're just gonna move this out of the way, and we'll go on to the monitors now. So the monitor, that is just like a Vizio 32-inch TV. Stole it from downstairs because no one was really using it. This is a 1080p 144Hz monitor, but it's like not the greatest quality. It streaks a lot. The pixels don't update quickly. So overall, it wasn't a great experience. This is the Asus ROG, I don't know, PQ, whatever they want to call it with their crazy number scheme, but it's 4K G-Sync 60Hz. Now, I used this as my main display for a while, but recently I got this one. So yeah, this is the 165Hz G-Sync 4K, not 4K, 1440p, and this is the IPS panel, because if you can tell the color difference, wow, you can actually see it quite differently. IPS versus like the TN panel, that makes a huge difference for all of this. So I would recommend IPS panels. They're more, but they look a lot better. Gotta admit, that fire does look pretty cool, doesn't it? And then this is just some random dual DVI 1440p 60Hz monitor. I've used it as my second monitor. It's actually the first ever second monitor that I've gotten. Yeah, so here are the monitors. They have a nice multi-desktop background. And of course, from this angle, the mountains don't line up. But when I stand up, they line up nice and well. Alright, deal with it. These next two things go together. These are the Bose Be Quiet QC35-2 and my Bluetooth for them because they're Bluetooth headset. So yeah, just keep this out for the better signal. Mostly because if I keep it down there, then I can't access Bluetooth downstairs, but here it is. Also, I'm sorry that the camera's like shaking like that. I don't know what's going on with Apple, but they can't apparently make a camera that's decent, and I'm sorry about that. So here's the part a lot of you probably came for, the actual computer. So starting with the RAM, we have 64 gigs of Trident Z, 3000 megahertz DDR4. This is the RGB stuff, because RGB is obviously worth twice as much. By the way, I've taken the side panel off so we can properly see it in this no glare. Next thing is my graphics cards. I have two GTX 1080s. One is a Founders card, and one is an ROG Strix. when I originally built it, I got the founder's card, and then I got a bunch of liquid damage in here, and I thought the graphics card was toast, but it turns out it still worked. So I plugged it back in and put them in SLI. Now my water cooler is the Corsair HX115i, and I have a push-pull configuration on it. You can't really see it that well, but it's right here. I have fans here, and if I take the front off, oh god, I have fans on here, so fans on both sides. And yeah, for space, I have two 500 gig Samsung 960 Pro SSDs. One of them is my boot, and one of them I use for literally everything else. And then I have two of these drives in here. You can't really see them, but those are 850 EVOs. So I have a terabyte of NVMe and a terabyte of NAND flash. And then I have 3 terabytes of mechanical drive. I don't really use that much, since most of my stuff I offload to my NAS now, but I do keep like backups of stuff on that now instead of my NAS, so I keep them in both spots, like, you know, backup of my C drive is in both. For the CPU, I have a 7920X, so that is an 8-core Skylake X CPU, clocked at 4 gigahertz across all cores. And the motherboard is an Asus Prime A X299. I didn't need, 10 gig Ethernet and all that, so I just got, like, the budget X299 board, if that kind of exists. And then I just have some fans in the top, which I don't know why one of them isn't spinning. There's probably a reason for it. I might have run out of fan headers. I don't know, because I have a ridiculous amount of fans on this. Probably the most important part of this setup is this clock. It's literally just a clock strapped onto an old drive. So they have the PCB of the drive, and they basically just put a clock on it, and I love it. So yes, if you can guess the time, you can guess what time I'm recording this. No way, except it's an hour off because of daylight savings and it didn't change. And my power supply is a Corsair HX 750 watt. So yeah, hopefully it should be enough for everything. Well, plot twist, it actually is enough. Since the cable management is so bad, I'm only gonna briefly show this to you. Here it is. I have a bunch of power supplies. These are like, pretty good stuff. And then just some power expanders for like, the drives and all that. And then that is plugged into a UPS there. So that keeps the NAS online and all the drives if something happens. And then over there, that blue thing is my network switch, and that is my network access point for my room because I want fast 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. And yeah, the rest of this is just random cables. Mostly monitors, because I have far too many. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Have a great day.